Nepotism in the NBA has been one of the most discussed topics ever since Bronny was drafted to the Lakers in this year's draft.
Don't talk to me about nepotism being something new. It's been here.
It's been present in the league for ages, and every now and then there comes a point where it's too obvious. On the other hand, sometimes it's not easy to see the fine line between having really influential relatives and being a decent player. For example, you have this guy Steph Curry who's in the league only because his dad once played for the Charlotte Hornets, and he's been riding that for his entire career. All jokes aside though, today we're talking about real gray areas of players getting contracts due to other reasons than just being talented. The one we have in mind is Thanasis Antetokounmpo. We'll try to break down his situation with the Bucks and see if he's really not deserving of a roster spot or he's just misunderstood for some of his mistakes on the floor. If you follow the NBA, you know the beast Giannis is and how unfair it would be if his brothers were the same as him. The game would be over for so many franchises. Unfortunately, they're nowhere near the superstar level he's on, so there have been many debates discussing whether Giannis is the main reason why they're getting certain opportunities. Hello basketball fans and welcome to Hoop Vision. We hope you'll enjoy today's story and get a better understanding of this matter. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Takes only a second, costs nothing, and will give you access to more basketball stories. When you think of Milwaukee's 2021 championship run, the first people coming to mind are Giannis, Drew, Middleton, and other Bucks players, but Thanasis was an irreplaceable figure in that title run for reasons that don't meet the eye. The story of the Antetokounmpo family has a lot to do with the NBA championship coming to the state of Wisconsin, and it all makes sense once you put all the dots together. You may or may not know that Thanasis is the second oldest brother in the Antetokounmpo family, and shares a special kind of connection with his siblings. Ever since childhood, basketball was their way of bonding and expressing themselves. Just like Giannis, Thanasis started his career in Greece youth teams, and found his first professional engagement with Philithlytikos, a club he played for as a junior. You may know Thanasis for some of the memes circling the internet, but he was a beast at that time, averaging more than decent numbers: 12 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block per game. That kind of game was enough for the Delaware 87ers to select him in the 2013 NBA D-League draft, and go on to play him in 50 games that season. Thanasis averaged almost the same numbers with the slight increase in assists and blocks, which proved he wasn't just productive playing in Greece, but could also step up with the upgraded competition. Making the D-League all-defensive team gave him enough of a confidence boost to declare for the 2014 NBA draft, where the Knicks took him in the second round as the 51st pick. Unfortunately, his summer league performances were quite disappointing, and averaging 3 points in 5 games earned him nothing more than a G-League roster spot. He was actually nice playing for the Westchester Knicks, and in 47 games in his first season, Thanasis averaged 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 1 assist, steal, and a block per game, which was enough for the franchise to reconsider his status. However, the relationship between the New York Knicks and Thanasis never took off, looking more like a game of ping pong. They drafted him, then sent him to the G League, they offered him a 10-day contract, then threw him back to Westchester. After 2 years of being bounced around, Thanasis had enough and decided to try to rejuvenate his career by signing with the Andorra Basketball Club. He opted for a smaller market where competition wasn't exactly like the one in the NBA, but his main goal was probably to get more minutes on the court and improve. Despite not being from Spain, Andorra plays in the Spanish ACB League, which features many great clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, Baskonia, and others. So Thanasis had a chance to play against many experienced players and coaches. Almost all of the players who spend some time playing European basketball say it's a completely different experience than the US, and that it often changes their perspective of the game. That didn't happen for Thanasis, as he was actually born and raised in Europe, but helped him compare the two systems and extract the best from both. After the episode in Andorra, he was signed by none other than the Greek giant Panathinaikos, which is like a national treasure. The rivalry between them and Olympiacos is one of the fiercest on the entire continent, so Thanasis had experienced some really unforgettable derbies during his stay. The fact he was granted a chance to play for one of the most glorious teams in Europe and be home at the same time was invaluable for Thanasis, and that showed in his game. In his first season with them, the man was the MVP of the Greek All-Star Game, won the Greek League beating Olympiacos, and was named the Greek League's most spectacular player, which is an award for having the most exciting highlights highlights throughout the season. In other words, Thanasis put on a show for his countrymen. After winning the Greek Cup and repeating the Greek League Championship next year, he felt like it was time to try pursuing his NBA dream again, joining his brother in Milwaukee. At the time, Giannis was already in his 6th year in the NBA and had one MVP award won in the 2018-19 season, so he was influential enough to land his brother a deal with the franchise. Even though Giannis' status had an impact, it would be unfair to say that he was the only reason Thanasis got the contract. At the end of the day, he was a lengthy athlete coming from 2 really good seasons in Europe and didn't put any financial burden on the franchise. Thanasis has never earned more than $1.8 million per year since joining the Bucks until the 23 and 24 season, where he netted just around $2 million. However, his impact in Milwaukee goes beyond points and other stats. But even that's not bad considering he never got more than 10 minutes per game. Averaging just a couple of points per game isn't bad if you get just a couple of attempts as well. Giannis could miss 10 straight shots and have the credits to continue asking for the ball, but players like Thanasis are in a much more difficult situation. However, that doesn't stop Thanasis from always bringing the energy when he steps on the court. If we're speaking just of offense, his shooting isn't something he can be proud of, but he's really good at taking his time and waiting for buckets to find him. Where Thanasis thrives are fast breaks, putback dunks, backdoor cuts, and those sneak points where you just follow your teammate's lead and put yourself in the right place at the right time. Both Drew Holiday and Brandon Forbes have dished so many assists like this, with Thanasis lurking behind the defender's back or cutting through the paint. Since we've mentioned defense, that's also where Thanasis shares his brother's talents and can be quite useful when giving it his all. First, at 6.7 and 240 pounds, he has both length and size to guard anyone from point guard to power forward. And since he's a member of the Antetokounmpo family, the quickness is also there so he doesn't lose his step easily. But Thanasis losing his step isn't what worries the Bucks at all. They can afford him to play whatever way he likes as long as he keeps doing what he does best, making his brother happy. Giannis is a different person when his brothers are or aren't around. They grew up together through all kinds of problems and know very well what it's like to struggle financially, as their parents had to emigrate from Nigeria and had to earn a living for all 7 of them. You can see how Giannis reacts anytime his brothers are having a good moment on the court, and what Thanasis provides for the Bucks is what no other teammate can. The 15th player on the roster actually never makes the difference visible on the stats sheets, but that doesn't matter in this case. You take Thanasis off that team and you'll see things going downhill quickly. When a 2-time MVP asks for his brother to be around for the unnoticeable amount, you do it, even if it means a couple of shacked in a fool moments throughout the season. Thanasis may never be the player to destroy opponents' defenses or put up historical numbers, but if he can help his brother do that, that should be more than enough for every Bucks fan out there. That's it for today, Hoop Fam. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments, what do you think of Thanasis as a player, and how big is his contribution when it comes to how Giannis plays the game? Thank you for watching and growing this channel. Make sure you don't miss out on more NBA stories by hitting that subscribe button. See you in the next one.